Welcome to Indie Music Podcast, episode 313, Tuning Your Ergonomics. Indie Music Podcast now has a Patreon at patreon.com/indie_musiccast. And we invite you to become a member for exclusive benefits. For next to nothing per month, you can get members-only podcast video, early access to upcoming episodes, merch, and more. This morning, Matt and I get together for coffee and discuss listener-requested topics on tuners and thoughts on studio ergonomics. Enjoy the show. Hey, Matt.
Good morning, Doug. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing fine, thank you.
Got my cans on today. I usually do earbuds, but they're around here somewhere. I took them off and put them somewhere, and now I'm just going to use these.
Do you have any problems with bleed from your earbuds?
No.
Really?
No. Yeah, surprisingly. Well, not surprisingly, because I don't use my studio monitors when I have the earbuds in, so there's no.
Yeah, no, but your microphone doesn't pick up your earbuds at all.
No, I don't have them that loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not been a problem. You know, birds maybe.
Yeah.
That's another story. Oh, it's pretty quiet today. I shouldn't tempt the leaf blower gods, though.
They could be outside. It wouldn't matter here. I've got like 8 inches of concrete behind the walls.
Well, yeah, you're underground.
Underground.
in your undisclosed location in your bunker.
My bunker. Oh, I like it. There's probably already a Bunker Studios, isn't there?
I believe that there is. Yes, actually.
Yeah.
There isn't. There should be. That's a good name. So what's new? What's going on? We kind of lost track of the week.
I can't believe it's Saturday. I
didn't think it was Saturday.
Contrary to last week, it was like it never got here, but
right.
This week, wow, the week really flew by.
Oh, you think so? I had the opposite.
Yeah. Well,
I thought today was another work day.
Yeah. End day. Well, I guess my week started out that way. And not really knowing.
It was
around Tuesday or Wednesday. It was foggy as to what the actual day of the week was,
right?
And they were just sort of running together. But no, it really, got here quick. I have the feeling like this is going to be a real fast weekend, and
I was going to say the
it'll
same.
Be like,
yeah.
Where to go?
Yeah, I got whenever the weekend starts with my wife going, so what's your list look like?
Yeah.
I'm like, why do you ask?
Yeah. You're planning on doing anything productive?
Like, so she's literally like, so how long is your list? And I'm like, it's longish. Why?
Yeah.
What are you gonna dump on me? Yeah.
But do you want to compare?
No. I mean, it's usually me that asks her, so what do you have for me? Because I'm, planning the weekend. I'm like, I want to slot things in properly. But this was a first where she's like, so how long is your list? Because I have some ideas about what we're going to do this weekend. And it's not like, take a trip, go somewhere fun, go for
I'm going to organize cables. I'm going to work on my studio ergonomics. Going to contemplate what it means to pan left or right, or
right,
all these different studio things. I mean, does using a different tuner on a guitar from one place to another really matter?
I think it's a good idea to use the same one everywhere, but just for consistency's sake. You don't know how the difference between brands are. I mean,
yeah, but like
I have a tuner in Logic, right? So there's a plugin, there's a tuner plugin.
Yeah,
I can put that on. And if I'm doing in the box stuff,
are you a 440 guy?
Just because it's easier. I don't think it sounds better. I actually like to tune my guitars a little sharp. Believe it or not.
I noticed
that. I have noticed that
just
when I use
kidding.
One of those clip-on tuners, and I tune to that, it's different than when I take that same guitar that I've tuned to the clip-on tuner, which is literally just the actual vibration of the guitar, and then plug it in and then use the Logic tuner, it's different. Like everything looks to the signal like it's not a tune anymore, like it's all
Really?
flat. Yeah, it's weird. I don't like that.
I've got this it's just a cheap, the old sign up, you get or sign up a friend and you get a $5 tuner deal from Reverb,
Yeah.
thing.
That's what I have. I have a Reverb.
I do too. The thing works great.
It works fine.
I've had it for years. And I don't know, when I've tuned up with other people and they're using their tuners and I'm using my tuner, it always works out. Tuning, I think, like if I'm recording, I'm using the tuner in my DAW, then I'm using that. I'm not using one. I'm not using both for any reason.
Right.
I'm just tuning to whatever it is. And I think a matter of a few cents, probably doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I agree. And then there's there's my pedal, which is the old Boss TU2. That one seems different as well. And those, I know those are also adjustable. Like you can adjust where they start from. And I bought it used, and I have always kind of wondered if somebody did an adjustment. I think I once reset it to factory, but do be careful if you buy a used tuner pedal that they didn't do some kind of a modification to it. Check it against something else. It's a workhorse though. Those TU2s.
I think a lot of it's relative too. So if you're with other musicians, and you guys are kind of tuning to each other,
sure,
and you might start out by tuning up, with your with your pedal or with the clip-on or something like that, and then if and then the band kind of tunes together. At least for live music, that's the way that we do it, and we catch those things in in sound check and stuff like that. But but
that's an interesting point, because it doesn't really matter if you're always being consistent. If your bandmate has a different tuner, you kind of have to trust that they're all kind of on the same level, right? Because they're not all going through the same pedal.
And to be honest, it's never a problem. And everybody on stage has got their own tuners, and there's never really a problem there. Maybe in the studio and you're being really particular or something like that. What do? Pass the same tuner around?
I don't know. I've never seen anybody.
I've never seen that happen.
No, I haven't.
My personal opinion is it really doesn't matter. Use whatever tuner you want as long as it's not broken. And
the only important thing is to
just use a tuner.
Use a tuner, but check it, because I know that a lot of them now you can switch on the tuner itself. You can switch between guitar, bass, violin, cello. Just make sure it's on the correct thing before you start.
Yeah. I've got a TC poly tuner. I like that.
Okay.
That's on my board.
I think TC Electronics is an underrated pedal maker. I think they make good, solid, inexpensive
I do too.
stuff.
I've got a few. Well, not a few. I've got a couple TC pedals on my board. But, and I like the little mini pedals that take up less room. And I'm kind of a one pedal for one specific job kind of person. So I don't need a whole lot, except for my distortion pedal. I've got a dual fusion, and it's basically got like an overdrive and a distortion in it, and you can blend those and route one. You can route the distortion into the overdrive or the overdrive into the distortion, however you want, and then blend those together. And but for the most part, I try and keep stuff simple. It's when you get into like the spatial stuff and the digital reverbs and delays, I mean, that stuff it really gets complicated, because there's just so much.
Sure.
There's so many ways to configure it, and and the presets and everything. You could spend all your time working on programming your pedals and stuff like that. And, I just try to find a few things that I like and then go with those.
Yeah, I kind of think that's important. I like the simplicity of that. I mean, I know that there are people now that you use the kind of like rack effects, and that you can like stage scenes the way you do with your routing on your desk there. You can stage a scene for a song. Like,
Yeah.
here's this whole setup with this routing and this level of delay and this reverb, and then switch scenes.
Yeah.
It's like having a digital caddy or gopher or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I have the ability with my pedal switcher to program, like if let's say you had like a 3-set gig, and you could program in your 3 sets, and within each set you could program in each song, and then basically have a preset for each song within being able to switch over to your solo
Sure.
in that song and stuff like that, if you wanted to. So if your set list didn't change very often, then you could set it up for like say you're going on tour or whatever, and you're going to be doing the same thing over and over except for a few things, then you can basically program it in. So like, yeah, here's set 1, song 1, and that's right. Everything that you got for is set up for you automatically.
Yeah,
and I've seen some guys talk about, and then they go further and they set up the verse, chorus, and solo in each one of those, and so it's it's got to be weeks in programming.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that falls in line with my long-standing theory of conservation of complexity that I came up with a long time ago. It's just, if it's going to be that simple on the front end, click chorus, click verse, then it has to be extra complex on the back end, spending weeks programming all that stuff and getting it just right, testing it out and all that.
And then your set list changes, and
right. What song are we doing? Oh no, which preset is that?
Yeah, the vocals is like, man, I'm a little scratchy tonight. I think we need to change,
change keys. Let's go down a half step. I can't hit those high notes today. Dope. Then what? I don't know. Then you get out your your clip-on tuner.
So I mentioned on your list studio ergonomics, and I kind of wanted to maybe talk about that for a few minutes.
Yeah, that was an interesting suggestion.
Yeah.
I got mine set up and then kind of left it. The only thing that I really have that's adjustable, honestly, in my studio is my chair height.
Yeah.
My desk is not really adjustable, and that is a shortcoming of this desk. I put it on little, those furniture pads, not risers, but like the little pads that are, I guess they're for keeping your floor from getting scuffed or whatever, but just to lift my desk up about 1/4 of an inch so that it's more comfortable for my keyboard height.
Yeah. But you ever thought about doing like stand-up height?
I have thought about it. I have rejected that thought.
Yeah.
I like that if you're going to be standing there typing and stuff. I don't know. I don't love sitting for long periods of time, but I also don't love standing for long periods of time. So
yeah,
I guess there's it's nice to go in between, and they have those things now that sit on top of your desk and lift and lower.
Yeah, I have one of those.
Your whole desk doesn't have to do that.
It doesn't play well with this, with
right.
my controller mixer, but nothing in my studio moves except I've got this little kind of a C-shaped table that I really like. It is a nice kind of footrest and platform for my keyboard and trackpad, and okay. It just rolls around because I like to pivot.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I'm just working straight up, I put my my keyboard and trackpad here.
Okay.
But most of the time when I'm working on the computer, then my computer's off to the side because I didn't want my computer in front here.
Right.
It just tears up the whole stereo image. If you've ever
sure.
In the way that mine set it, because my speakers are back further.
Your speakers are far away, so any sound is going to bounce off the back of your computer if your computer's facing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Now you can kind of see it. I've got a display, and it's right there, and my eyesight sucks, and so, but I can zoom that up a little bit, and And so I use that for all of my display for metering and stuff like
Oh,
that.
right,
That
right.
works good for that. But my DAW and whatever digital plugins or routing and things like that are off to the left. And for me, this is like an ergonomic contention point because I have to rotate.
Yeah.
And I think the most important thing that that's on my list of to-dos is to replace this desk here.
Yeah, I remember you were drawing up some plans or
Yeah,
shopping for a desk.
and this top comes right off, and then there's a frame underneath it. But I got into looking the way that this is structured. I'd have to like basically kind of rebuild all the framework of the desk underneath here, and didn't really want to get into that. I didn't want to modify the desk so far that it didn't work just as it is. I could sell it as it is now. I could use it. I could repurpose it for something else, and I really like it. It's been a good desk. But over here, which is to my left when I'm facing forward, is my rack and my computer, and that causes me. It's not so much ergonomics as it is functionality wise for me having to rotate out of the sound field in order to make adjustments and rotate back in to discern what happened in the adjustment versus everything being right here and me not having to move my head, and I can make changes and I can have those, because as soon as you move out and back in, you don't have the same sense. It changes, and sometimes I'm like, I'll look over and I'll find the button, and then I'll turn back and I'll look up, and then I'll start making changes so that my head's not moving.
That's almost, I would almost consider that more of a transition cost than an ergonomic issue. Would you say that?
Yeah. It is ergonomic in a sense. Is that this is it's low. I have to move to get to it. It's and oftentimes I have to like really lean down so that because some of the values on the dials are underneath and they're out of view and I can't see them. I mean, I've had sometimes where I'm like crawling down on the ground so I can
you can put a mirror down there.
Yeah, I could put a mirror. And I mean, you kind of get to know where things are, but then comes a time where, well, I need to recall this. What am I actually on? What's the exact value? Because and also if you're offset of a dial, your perspective of where it is changes depending on your angle. And so there's all that excessive movement that I have to go through, and it may not sound like a lot, but do it a lot, and then it's like, wow, what a pain in the ass. And and that for me is like it's close to a need. It's really close to a need, and I think it would be a functional improvement in my work as well. Without having to move in and out of the sound field, which is really the point of having a desk with all of your gear in it up front here. The same thing holds true because my computer's here when working in digital domain, because I have to turn my head to look at plugins. Now perhaps, and I'm thinking about increasing the size of this display on the wall up here, then I could put plugin UI up on that display and have it large enough where I can read it good enough. Because really, it's difficult for me to read with my eyesight at that distance. And so I really got to zoom it up. But so that, which is definitely, that's an ergonomic thing. Your vision and how far you can see and squinting, and things like that.
That's true. That's true. I did, I just had my first eye appointment in 7 years. I didn't realize I'd been putting it off so long. And we talked about a lot of that stuff. surprisingly, and I actually attribute it to my stubbornness and wearing glasses. I actually have glasses and had for a long time, but I don't wear them. And she was very surprised that my vision hasn't changed much in 7 years, especially considering my age. And I do kind of attribute that to forcing my eyes to work harder. I mean, my prescription would be very slight anyway, but I don't, I make my eyes do the work instead of make the glasses do the work, because I find that my eyes relax and get lazy when I wear glasses too much. But like 72-inch displays are not that expensive now. You can,
Yeah.
I keep seeing those at Costco. Like, I don't know who has a living room this big, but boy, if I did, I probably would go for that.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be able to fit a 72 up
No,
here,
I can see there's not room, but
no, but I could like a 60 or 65 might even fit. I'd have to measure it, but
yeah,
which I think would be big enough. There'd be enough real estate to set a good resolution and have a few things on there.
What's that?
Perhaps could even put my DAW up there.
Yeah. What size is that one up there now?
That's
It's like a 42.
It's no more than a 40. I don't think it's a 42.
Yeah, because you can get a 50, 55 for like $300.
Yeah,
like 4K.
Before this one, I had a 64, and but then it died. Remember?
Right. Yeah. I remember that.
And so this was oh my gosh, I gotta get a TV panel now.
Yeah.
And so I was on Best Buy and got this and delivered the next day, and it was just what I needed as fast as possible. This will probably end up being my son's TV when he moves out, and then I'll replace it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I do think that ergonomics is a bit of a moving target. I mean, I remember when I set this room up, because I had the opportunity to set this up from scratch and pick out a desk. Unfortunately, I picked out the desk kind of like sight unseen and not sat at, which because mail order. But I had an idea of where I wanted everything to go, and I kind of set it all up the way I wanted it. And then it's not until you start using it that you go, okay, I need this within arm's reach. I need that within arm's reach. I need my chair to be this location. Therefore, I need the desk to be here away from the wall. You know what I mean? I mean, it's kind of an ongoing process. But there are people who specialize in ergonomic evaluations.
Oh, sure, especially at the corporate level.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wonder if it would be worth getting a consultation and have come in and say, okay, show me what you do. Okay, let me see what you're reaching for. Let me see where things could go, and just like have them, give an evaluation or recommendation. But you can figure all that out yourself by, okay, this is a pain point. This is a pain point.
Yeah, where's it hurt?
Where does it hurt when I reach for blah? How often do I reach for this? Do I reach for this like once a month, once a quarter, or do I reach for this like 12 times a day? It makes a huge difference. And it's like anything, it's process improvement. So I mean, just keep a little notepad and say, okay, what do I need, and how do I solve this little problem? I mean, I guess generalizing it, that's kind of how we do everything,
right?
But it is
but other than that, ergonomically, I mean, so you've got a fairly new chair, and I think when people think of ergonomics, the chair is probably the first thing that people think of, and
it's one of the most important things. I do agree.
I think so too. And with a fixed desk height, having an adjustable chair,
right,
is you got to have an adjustable chair.
Yes.
And I use this chair for you and me both. Having rotatable arms is important.
Correct. Yeah, guitar tracking.
And adjustable lumbar, headrest. I don't know if you've got a headrest on yours or not.
It kind of, I do.
Yeah,
more so than my last
one. And this headrest
lumbar. I don't think my lumbar is adjustable though, but still, it's there.
Yeah,
you can always
and so headrest height, and then angle, and then I think mine can move forward or back as well. And so having those type of adjustments, but I find that I don't use my headrest unless I'm like kicking back.
I do when I'm taking a nap.
Yeah. So
I've had enough.
but the most important part, the headrest gets used for location of head position when I'm measuring in my studio. And so I use that. So I set my chair where I sit, and then the headrest represents the back of my neck.
Yeah.
And I can pretty accurately position my microphone to where the center between my ears is, and
Right.
and so I use it for that. But other than that, the headrest is brand new on this chair. So
I don't remember if we talked about that, but that's something that I think we differ on this particular thing, which is when you're measuring your room and you're measuring the sound waves and the response, of everything in the room. I actually want to be in the chair when I'm measuring the room, because I'm going to be in the chair when I'm listening. So if I'm absorbing or reflecting any sound, I want that to be part of the measurement.
well, there's a couple different areas of measurement here. And the part that I'm talking about is when I'm calibrating the studio monitors for their timing and loudness. Okay. And I don't want to be in the way in that. I use a moving mic method with me in the chair when I'm actually doing the EQ graphing.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I like the moving mic method.
So I'll sit here and go like this,
I think we both saw that on the same Warren Hewitt.
Yeah, I've watched that video so many times.
I know, me too. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. So I mean, obviously, just like in a regular, desk situation, the chair is probably important thing number one. I also replaced the casters on this chair. You can get inexpensive. They're basically like rollerblade wheels.
Yeah,
and they just pop in and out, and for $20 you can replace your crappy plastic casters with nice rolling rollerblade wheels. I don't think they help on carpet, but they really help on a wood floor. And then keyboard height is important. Your choice of mouse or trackball or whatever, and how that is located is important. You shouldn't be reaching for any of that stuff. It should be natural hand position.
That's what I like the C table, because it's adjustable height. I can bring the C table up to here if I wanted to. So because it's got a couple, it's a tubular frame that with the top portion fitting inside the bottom, and it's got a couple clamp dials on it that you can loosen up and then change the height. So it's really cool. Inexpensive table and just exponentially usable for all kinds of different things. And when not in use, it rolls out of the way nice because it's not too big. So
that's good.
Yeah,
I got my desk has a central desk portion that's kind of curved, and then it has this wing on it that has its own casters that I can roll towards me or away from me.
Oh, cool.
That's where I have my keyboard and my kind of my inbox. And there's not enough room to roll it all the way away, but it's nice to have an extra place to put stuff like my my MIDI controller.
Keyboard. Now, I don't know about you, and I also don't know what an ergonomic specialist would say, but I don't like to have my wrists setting on the table in front of my keyboard.
No, I don't either. There's an air gap for me.
Yeah, so I like my keyboard and trackpad or mouse, if you use a mouse, low. So my elbows, in this case, my elbows are on the padded armrests, and my hands are just low, and I'm not supporting the weight of my arms on my wrist, because that's after time that really causes me like achiness and stuff like that. I think that's a good way to get carpal tunnel.
That's why people have to have surgery, because they're resting their even if it doesn't seem like it, you're resting the weight of your arm on your wrist or your hand. And eventually that just causes swelling and numbness, and it's just all kinds of bad. So my elbows are on my padded. It's very important for me to have padded armrests. I actually don't like to have no armrest, because then I feel like I have to support all that weight. And there's an air gap between that and where my keyboard and trackball are, and they're lower than, so I don't have to reach to do anything. That's nice.
Yeah.
The one thing that I only, relatively recently found out is when figuring out your monitor height, I've read, and I had to make this adjustment myself because I didn't even know this. If you look at a monitor all the time, the recommendation is to put the top of the monitor relative to the height of your eyes, so that you're not looking up, you're looking across or more down at it, which I have mine just a little bit higher than that because I don't like it too low, but I think that it's a very natural position to have the top of your monitor relatively close to your eye level.
Yeah,
the same way,
and that happens to be exactly
level.
That's exactly where mine is. So
Yeah.
if I look straight across level, I'm looking at the very top edge of my monitor.
I'm trying to remember what level of, pain is kind of in a broad term, what level of fatigue or pain or whatever got rectified by that. But I did notice, not right away, but after a little while, a difference after I moved my monitor down from where I had it up. I Like I said, I don't remember exactly what that helped, but I know it helped something.
Yeah. Now with the display that's on my wall, it's about 8 feet approximately away from me, and I like it up. I also have it up there because I don't want it in this reflection area,
Right.
which is where I have my diffusion right below it, and because it's a great big reflector, man.
Yeah.
So it's behind the speakers and it's up. It is on a slight tilt downward, but I haven't noticed anything in measurements that it's causing any problems. And I think that it's I'm sure there's a little bit, but it may be the impetus for why I want to have some clouds above me right here, because that might be an area. Audibly, I don't think I notice a difference with or without it there, and but I think there may be some stuff if I want to get really particular about it, but but so far it hasn't been much more of an issue if I put my monitor right here. It's audibly different, and it affects my my ability to make good decisions on a stereo image with that there. So that's why my computer's off to the side now. But
I almost feel like if a monitor's far away like that, like you have it on your wall, it's not unlike, like looking up at a clock to see what time it is.
Yeah.
And you check it. And I almost feel like it's a little more natural to look away and up than it is to look directly to your side.
Yeah. And with that,
quicker.
I'm looking at my DAW a lot longer than I am looking at my metering. So my metering is looking up and doing checks. I put my AB stuff up there and AB and listen. And usually I don't have to look at the AB when I'm doing it. I just got to get lined up on it. And then and then I just click. And then I like to try to fool myself and not know which side of the AB I'm on, and I do that on purpose. And that way that it's a self check, that I'm hearing my changes the way that I think I'm hearing them, so
I hit my tendency. I look away. I look away from my keyboard when I really want to fine tune or listen. That's I
often close my eyes,
I don't trust myself to do that, so I just look down and listen.
Close your eyes, and then you delete your whole session.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. Like, wait, what did I just click on?
Yeah.
That's the that's the rally cry of the damned.
So
what did I just click on?
So tuning to ergonomics, I guess. Tuning your ergonomics.
I like that. Yeah. Tuning your workstation and your guitars.
Yeah.
It's a process. Process. Dial it in, let it be until it's no longer serving you.
Yeah. And once you get it like the way that you want, I mean, I haven't had a desire to change anything in here since I've redone everything. And I just, it came from a lot of thought, and then there's been additions, but anything that I have laid out here has been working for me. And then from that, and I know I've talked about this before, is that, set things up and use them for a while and then decide what's needs improvement from there. And like for me, so now I'm into this setup for quite a long time now. And I'm like, it's the desk. The desk is the weak link here, for this. So and as much as I'd like to get more outboard gear and everything, the desk is actually, I think, the highest and most important priority of the studio setup right now.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere. I mean, when I started, recording and mixing, I was literally in a closet with a TV tray, with my computer on the TV tray. So this is it's been a gradual process, but
Yeah.
you're right. I haven't done a lot here since I originally set it up, except some like moving things away from the wall a little more, adding some hooks to hang cables. But yeah, it's just at some point it becomes fine tuning, but you have to start doing it because it can look great on paper, but you can, it can not feel right. You just gotta work with your setup,
Yeah.
work with what you got, improve it.
This is my first desk, and
Oh, okay.
I got this through, we have like it's called a restore, and it's donated and used furniture and appliances and all kinds of stuff, and they support like Habitat for Humanity,
Nice.
and so all the stuff like gets used for Habitat, but then you can go in and shop there too. And so I picked this up secondhand. It was in perfect shape, for very little.
Yeah.
And this is a glass top, but then I tricked it out. I think it's trick anyway. With
I like it.
This material that I got from a fabric store. Yeah. And that was because of the reflections were ridiculous coming off the glass top. And this is a felt back material, and it actually helps a great deal with reflections and comb filtering right here at the desk.
Nice.
And it's if anything, it's I have a little bit of an angle on it, but not enough, because there's some adjustable screw height adjustment pins all the way around it, and so I got a little bit of an angle on it so that it's not a direct flat surface, but it's not enough. Like 10 degrees would be preferable, where you got a pretty good slope on it. So
that's cool.
But yeah, there you have it. That's my take on what my needs are.
Yeah, I think we covered as much as we could of ergonomics and tuning.
I think the most important point of the tuning section of our discussion is use a tuner.
Yes, use a tuner, whatever, they're not expensive, and they have them like right there. Next time you go to buy guitar strings, they're right there at the freaking counter. Just pick them up.
Or I don't care if it's the old kind that you had a blow in, and
I don't remember those.
No. Oh, I've got one in my first guitar case. And it
like a pitch pipe.
Yeah. Yep. And it had the major scale on it.
A440, by the way.
Yep. We should check that.
I'd be curious. No, it's not.
If it is dead on 440, then you're gonna from here on out gonna be known as 440 Matt. So all
right. That's what I need, another nickname. All right, let's go.
All right, everybody, have a great week.
Have a great week. Thanks for listening. Thanks for checking us out. And don't forget, we are now on Patreon.
We are on Patreon and YouTube. We want you to know about YouTube, because nobody knows about YouTube.
Apparently nobody knows about Patreon either, but I think they'll find the YouTube first.
Yeah.
I'll start.
So find us on YouTube, and there's links there to Patreon.
There you go.
And we would love your support. If you like what we do and want to help support us, then check out our Patreon. Thanks.
Have a great week.
All right. Peace. Or cheers. That's what I say. Cheers.
Cheers.
Later.